If Bitcoin is going to bounce ahead of the monthly close, it would be right here around $108,000. Yesterday, we dropped to the low 107K level, and everyone is freaking out. In today's video, I'll be talking about why I still think that a bigger relief bounce is imminent and what we can be expecting going into the monthly close as well as the monthly open for September. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So yesterday, Bitcoin absolutely nuked. Now, if I go on the 4-hour time frames, you can see here that we dropped all the way down to around 107.3K. Now, why is this level important? Well, it ties right into these moving averages, which is the bull market support band that I've been referring to at length on the channel. Now, this is made up of the 20-week simple moving average and the 21-week exponential moving average. And you can see that historically, this band does provide support for Bitcoin. Tapping into this level is not the area where you want to go max short, in my opinion, because if we are to get a bounce, it would be around here. Hence my Bitcoin trade. You can see that I am still in my Bitcoin long, and I actually added to my position. Now, what am I looking at here? Right now, you can see that we're getting some pretty big wicks to the downside, suggesting that we could be moving higher. But remember, this is a weekend, so we'll likely have a little bit less volatility, pretty illiquid market. So let's see what happens. But I'm banking on a bigger move for Bitcoin because as the price goes ahead and trends lower into this range, we do know that even more shorts started to pile into the market. So even if Bitcoin is to have a deeper correction than we've already had, I still think that we will get some kind of relief rally, something to liquidate a lot of shorts before going ahead and heading lower. Now, on the channel, we've been talking about how September in the post-halving year is typically not a favorable period for Bitcoin and also the stock market. That being said, though, with August currently red, does this mean that September could potentially be green? I'm seeing everyone on the timeline now talking about how September will be a brutal month and we will just keep on going lower and lower and lower. Here's my thoughts. I think that Bitcoin will likely get a relief in this upcoming week. And one of the reasons I think this is because we are at crucial support levels. You can see that the previous high set in January of 2025 was right around 109.3K. And of course, we have this high over here, which is set around $112,000. Now, for proper continuation, Bitcoin does have to confirm back above these highs, potentially looking something like this. So let's see what happens. Can Bitcoin make its way higher? I am personally still betting on the fact that I think Bitcoin could find its way towards the liquidity around $115,000. However, because of seasonality, I also think that we could be seeing a further correction into September. Remember, September can still end red even if we end up having a relief rally to liquidate some of those shorts. Now, from a global perspective here, any dumps should be seen as opportunities in my opinion. Right now, I'm of course talking about my trades, but you can see that I'm still in my Ethereum long position. We came this close to hitting my stop loss at break even, and you can see again, as I've been showing across the past few weeks, we secured some very nice profits, but I'm still sitting in the position. And honestly, because my stop loss is at break even, this is a relatively risk-free trade. Happy with the realized profits. However, if Bitcoin does get a significant bounce here, I still think that ETH could be moving higher and potentially targeting its all-time high once more. But let's see what happens here because you can see that there's still a lot of fear in the market. ETH is actually tapping into this crucial support level. Now, if we start losing $4,200, it's at that point that we can start having the conversation of Ethereum going back below $4,000. But until proven otherwise, I will just remain in this trade with my stops at break even. So what is next? This week, we want to see reclaims of around 109.4K to around $112,000. We get to these levels, it's easy to see how we can get the liquidity to the upside. Everyone is currently freaking out. And why did we get the drop? Well, the US Appeals Court found President Trump's global tariffs illegal officially yesterday, right after the market closed. And Trump came out and said that all his tariffs are still in effect despite appeals courts ruling against him. So there's a lot of back and forth here, and naturally the markets don't like this kind of uncertainty. But I still think that from these range lows, Bitcoin can get a bounce. Now, I know it gets exhausting because typically you want to see continuation immediately, but until we break below these levels, these key support levels, which tie into the previous all-time highs, I don't see why we should be concerned about Bitcoin. Now, from a spot positioning, I am still fully in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I will be adding to my bags if we get a deeper correction. So I'm trying to give you updates on both the trades and the spot portfolio perspective. From an altcoin perspective, I still don't hold any altcoins in my spot portfolio because I still think that ETH gives you the upside while minimizing your downside risk. That I've made very clear on the channel. And taking a look at the liquidity, it still paints the same picture. Look at all of this liquidity to the upside. Now there's a ton of liquidity, even around $114,000 since we made this dump. And on this chart, you can see that there's around 20 billion worth of cumulative short liquidation leverage if Bitcoin were to make its way back to its all-time high. Now, to be clear, that's not my base case, at least for these upcoming weeks. But if we were to go even remotely close to there, a lot of shorts would be getting wrecked. On the flip side, though, there's not that much long liquidation leverage left to be grabbed. So this is something that you definitely want to consider. In my opinion, this is still not the area to go max short. Now, if we start getting confirmation below these ranges, then we can start talking about shorting the market. But right now, I still think that we are due for a bigger relief bounce, which will likely shake out a lot of market participants. Every single person on Twitter right now is calling for the top to be in. Even if Bitcoin does trend lower from here, I still don't think that the bull market top is in. And as I said, I will be adding to my positions if we get a deeper pullback in anticipation for the last leg higher going into Q4, Q1 of this year. Let's see how it plays out, but that is currently my base case. And to summarize quickly the economic data that we got yesterday, everything seems relatively neutral as expected. Not too many spikes, not too many decreases, and naturally the market kind of just stayed stable until we got this news about President Trump's tariffs, which we just went over. Supposedly they're illegal. However, he says that they are still well and truly intact. Now, what else did I want to cover? You can see that, of course, he talked about it on his Truth Social account, saying that the tariffs are still in effect. And if these tariffs ever went away, it would be a total disaster for the country. It would make the US financially weak, and they need to be strong, as Trump says it. And just to give you another perspective, which I do tend to agree with here, most crypto charts now look so broken and bearish. That is bullish. Long liquidations have been significant, mainly the last two rounds after the close today. I'm bullish into next week and positioned accordingly. And this, if you're in my groups, you know exactly how I'm positioned. I think that next week we will get a relief rally, but I don't necessarily think that September will be this crazy month. If you're trading the market, it makes more sense to bet long at this point in time. Of course, nothing that I share on this channel should be construed as financial advice, but I'm just showing you exactly how I'm trading this market. As you can see, we have some positions that are in some nice profits. Some of them are in losses, but that's how you should be trading the market, letting your wins compound over time. Now, if you want to trade with me, you have all the links in the description down below. First of all, we have Blofin, where you can literally get $2,000 worth of Ethereum completely for free, withdrawable as well, based on your net deposit and, of course, how much you trade on this exchange. So if you're a regular trader, I would take advantage of this because you can easily get $2,000 worth of ETH completely for free. That would be the second link in my description down below. And also, if you want access to my own personal trade setups, how I'm navigating this market day by day, minute by minute, you have the first link in my description down below. DM me the word premium and I would be happy to onboard you completely for free. I share with you my exact playbook as to how I'm trading, going long or going short, which tends to also be shared on this channel, but you get more detail in my group. Remember, first link in my description down below. Now, the last thing I wanted to cover here is CZ right here? The last few times that he went ahead and talked about a dip, we did pump a little bit more. You can see here that on April 27th, I hope you bought the dip. And then we went ahead and pumped. And then again, on June 23rd, he came out and said, remember, by definition, everything before the next all-time high is a dip, which was right around the wick low, and we went ahead and pumped. Then, things to avoid in crypto, selling the dip. He just said this yesterday. Does this mean we're going to get an imminent reversal way into all-time highs? I don't necessarily think so. However, I do think, as I shared earlier in the video, that we will likely be seeing some kind of relief in this upcoming week. Now, don't get me wrong, September could easily be red, but I don't think it's just going to be a straight line down. We will likely have some pumps and then some dumps. Let's see how it all plays out. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Make sure to comment and I will be getting back to every single one of you. And that sums up today's video. Truth be told, this is the level where I would like to see Bitcoin bounce. If we start to lose this level, then maybe we have to have a different conversation in my upcoming videos. That being said, I am still going long and I am anticipating a relief rally in this upcoming week, even if I may think that September could be red. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.